This week in Jamaica Now, death at a funeral. Woman collapses and dies after a religious leader dooms her deceased cousin to hell.
You have two examples in the family. Which one will you take?
Murder-suicide in Portimore, St. Catherine. Then a man kills his ex-lover in St. Elizabeth. Entertainer arrested and charged in relation to 2019 Stirling Castle mob killing. U.S. Embassy denies claims of pending extradition requests for Jamaican politicians. Why the opposition was pressuring the government over the Auditor General's report on the CMU. Did the Speaker mislead the House when asked about its tabling?
Member, the matter I understand was to be delivered to the Speaker, and the Speaker will have it tabled.
And DPP announces social media policy for her office coming soon after viral posts involving a deputy. I'm Damian Mitchell, and this is Jamaica Now. It was the top story for Gleaner online readers this week, how an apostolic elder doomed a 79-year-old deceased man to hell because he was not baptized. Elder Orlando Livingston was officiating at the double funeral of returned residents Aubrey Tomlinson and his mother Martina Wellington at the Deliverance Temple Apostolic Church in Knockpatrick, Manchester on Sunday.
Mighty God, I don't know if on earth we have to celebrate Sisters Martina's life is somewhat dampened because her son is also present. But I can tell you this, precious in the sight of the Lord. Precious, precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saint Martina Wellington. Lord God Almighty, you have two examples in the family. Which one will you take? This is on my right and on my left. Good God, what a placement.
Upset family members then went outside the church before Tomlinson's widow approached the rostrum to complain to Overseer Bishop Jabez Johnson about Livingston's utterances. But Johnson would worsen their grief.
I never heard the moderator call any name. And you cannot tell the speaker what to say. You can't direct this funeral. It's not your funeral. It's your death, but it's not your funeral. If you call your name, take us to court.
Bishop Johnson would then abort the funeral, cutting the remaining tributes as well as the homily. And in a bizarre climax, Jennifer Woodfine, an 80-year-old cousin of the deceased mother and son, would collapse and die as she left the interment at the Oakland Memorial Gardens. The Jamaica Defense Force is now probing how one of its corporals assigned to its armory allegedly removed a service weapon from safekeeping and used it to kill his girlfriend, then shoot himself. The incident happened in 4 West Greater Portmore, St. Catherine on Saturday night. According to reports, Corporal Doran Mackenzie, who was 33 years old, earlier had an argument with his girlfriend, Swain Easy, then left the house. It is reported that soon after, the woman, who was also a practical nurse, also left. However, the JDF corporal returned before her. Shortly after, Easy was dropped off at her gate, and the two are reported to have engaged in another argument inside the house when Mackenzie opened fire, hitting the woman multiple times before he shot and killed himself. And as Jamaicans grieved over that incident, hours later, a Manchester man reportedly went to Brinkley in St. Elizabeth and killed his ex-lover, 27-year-old Nevia Sinclair. Sinclair had moved back to her parents' house because she was allegedly being physically abused by her partner. However, around 10:30 on Sunday night, her ex-boyfriend reportedly went to the house, entered through a window, and stabbed Sinclair several times as she slept. It's the third fatal intimate partner incident in 3 weeks and has jolted journalist Tauna Thomas, who attended Hampton School in St. Elizabeth with Sinclair.
After high school, we didn't see each other much because, life got a bit more busy, but we kept in constant contact to about a year ago. The news of her untimely death has rocked my world to its core, and that of all my Hampton sisters. Members of that Hampton sisterhood, whether near or far, have been weeping. At this time, our community, the sisterhood, is extending so much love and so much support to the Sinclairs, who will have an even steeper journey to healing.
Entertainer Shaquille Clark, popularly called Quada, is now awaiting his first court appearance after being charged with murder and arson. The charges relate to the 2019 mob killing of Miguel Williams in Stirling Castle, St. Andrew. Residents had accused Williams of the rape and murder of 8-year-old Shantae Scars. Her decomposing body was found in bushes several days after the Red Hills Primary School student failed to return home from classes. Williams was set upon, killed, and his house torched. Quada is the second person arrested in connection with the murder and arson. In December, 30-year-old Andrew Braycliffe of a Sterling Castle Heights address was also charged. The United States Embassy in Kingston has dismissed social media rumors that Washington is demanding the extradition of a current minister of the Jamaican government. It also said that the Jamaican government has been very cooperative with the United States government on extradition matters. The statement follows claims and counterclaims on social media that the U.S. government had submitted an official request to the Jamaican government for the extradition of a current minister to face legal action for purported acts of criminality. Extraditions are provided for under the extradition treaty that currently exists between both countries. House Speaker PEARNEL Charles has given into increasing pressure, now saying that the highly anticipated Auditor General's report on the Caribbean Maritime University will be tabled at the next sitting of Parliament. The Auditor General submitted the report to Gordon House in December, but it was not among a long list of documents tabled on Tuesday at the Parliament's first sitting since the Christmas break. Leader of Opposition Business in the House, Maurice Guy, would seek to find out why.
What has happened to the AGD's report on the Caribbean Maritime University? Because we were told today on questions that was asked of the AGD that the report was sent to the Parliament. Thank you.
The matter I understand was to be delivered to the Speaker, and the Speaker will have it tabled.
But it is emerging that the House Speaker may have deliberately misled the House. A day later, Leader of Government Business in the House, Carl Semuda, indicated that the Speaker had the report but made a decision to delay its tabling.
I had discussions with him yesterday, and there are aspects of that exercise that has given him some pause. And he has undertaken to advise Parliament prior to the next sitting of the House on exactly what his decision is.
And in a review of the tape from Parliament, Charles, in a one-on-one conversation with Semuda, was captured saying he would not be laying it.
Mr. Speaker.
Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn has written to her staff advising that a social media policy will be developed to guide their use of the platforms. The development follows public criticisms of one of her deputies, Adley Duncan, over a series of controversial posts he made on Twitter following a burglary at his home. Among other things, Duncan said he was naked at the time. The DPP in her 2-page memorandum did not name Duncan, but said she had hoped that there would have been more self-regulation given the obligation to be professional. This has proven to be a difficult path to trod, Llewellyn wrote. She further said the new social media policy will be binding on all staff, and her hope is that it will provide guidance and protection of the professional experience and career objectives of the staff while protecting the positive image of the office of the DPP. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. You may tune in to Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, Jamaican diver Yona Knight Wisdom was in Kingston this week, imparting techniques to young swimmers of the Immaculate Conception High School. He spoke with the Gleaner.
It's always awesome to come back to Jamaica. Obviously a bit of sunshine, being in the UK and even in Scotland at the moment is very, very cold. So it's nice to get some warm weather, and it's nice to be able to come and dive in this pool. Obviously I can't do everything that I'd like to do. I'm a little bit limited because there's no springboards, which is my event, but I can still get a lot of use out of the platforms just to keep things ticking over, and that's important because the consistency of diving is so key, to try and maintain that as much as possible. So just be able to get in and do a few dives, show these young girls here a little bit about diving, and hopefully get them interested in the sport and get even more people interested.